When you're short on space, but not on style, a pocket door could be just the solution, adding a seamless look and improved flow between rooms. Hi, I'm Matt. In this video, you'll learn how to install a custom pocket door kit. I'll show you how to reframe the opening, install the door, and finish the job. So, let's get started. We've built a demonstration wall and removed the bathroom fixtures to show you how to install a pocket door. But always be sure to check local codes before starting any work in your home. You should always contact a professional for any electrical work and to determine if you have a load-bearing wall. Typically, if the wall runs perpendicular to your floor or ceiling joists, or has a beam or foundation post underneath, it's most likely a load-bearing wall. Before we get started, it's important to note that installing a pocket door kit will require reframing the opening. So make sure you have enough space. Also, it's a good idea to check that your finished jam stock will cover the flooring expansion gaps. An easy way to make sure it covers the gaps is to use the same type or thicker jam, or make the doorway smaller. The first thing we're going to do is remove the existing door. Then remove the hinges and strike plate. Score the caulk along the casing. Then pry it off. Then cut through the fasteners and the jams with an oscillating tool. After the fasteners are cut, remove the jams from the opening. Then pop out any remaining nails in the frame. Also, remove the baseboards from the work area. We're going to reuse the slab for the pocket door. The mortise will not be seen as it'll be hidden inside of the pocket. You could go with a new slab if you want to change the style or hardware. Next, I'll remove the drywall just over the new framing area, which will be a few inches from the ceiling and the area where the pocket door will be installed behind the wall. Here's what to do. Use a stud finder to locate the studs in the work area. Then mark the outline of the pocket door following the manufacturer's directions. Do not place a drywall seam right over the corner of the door. It will be more likely to crack. Then use an oscillating tool to cut the drywall along the outline. Only one side of the drywall needs to be removed for this installation, but you can remove both sides to make it easier. It's okay if some of the drywall paper tears, a coat of mud will cover it. Typical door framing has a header that's supported by jack studs, with king studs on each side. The new framing will use those components but adjusted to now fit the wider opening. Next, I'm going to remove the unnecessary framing members by cutting out as many of the fasteners as I can get to. Use an oscillating tool or reciprocating saw to cut through the nails in the framing of the work area while trying to salvage the drywall on the other side. After cutting the fasteners, remove the studs and the existing header. Cut any exposed nails too. Next, on the pocket side, measure the width needed for the pocket door and remove the part of the 2x4 bottom plate only where the new framing will be placed. Cut the 2x4 and pry it loose from the subfloor. The jack stud on the strike side of the opening will be replaced with a taller stud. And now we are done removing the framing. Now we're ready to start installing the framing to the pocket door kit. The new frame opening will be 65¼ inch wide by 84½ inch tall. I'll install a new king stud on the pocket side behind the drywall to help support the original framing and new jack studs to support the new header. The header can be built several ways. For most installations, contractors will use at least a double 2x6 header with spacers in between so that it matches the thickness of the 2x4 wall. Another option is to use two 2x6s secured directly together with 2x4 top and bottom plates. However, for a non-load bearing wall, you can use a double 2x4. I'll show you how to install that type of header and the studs above. So the next thing I'm going to do is take the measurement off of the finished floor for the bottom of my header, top of the jack. That measurement is 84½ inches, and then we'll go up another 3 inches and make another mark representing the top of our header. That'll allow us to measure for the height of our split studs. At 6 3/8, I'll turn the tape around and go back to the bottom plate, measure up to my line for my jack. It is 83¼ inches. Now I'll go cut that down. Next, I'm going to install the king stud on our pocket side so that I can take the measurement for our header. I'll start by pre-drilling for a couple toe screw holes and start the screws for easier installation. Set the stud on the line and drive in the screws at the bottom. I'm going to check this king stud for plumb, and then I'm going to fasten the screws up in the top. I'm going to take the measurement between the two king studs to get the length for my header boards and cut them to fit. On one of the header 2x4s, hold it against the existing marked top plate and transfer the stud layout. The studs will be spaced the standard 16 inches on center. I'll attach the short studs to the header, then secure the double 2x4s together. I always like to start on one far side when joining material so that I can work the material back and forth to make sure it stays flush. Then I'll get the screws started. That'll make it easier to secure it in place. Next, set the header into position using the jack studs for support. Then secure everything with screws. With the frame set, it's time to install the pocket door kit. This kit header has pre-marked cut lines for standard door sizes to help make installation easier. First, I'm going to cut the nailing strip at the pre-marked line for our 32-inch door. Also cut the header track assembly at the noted mark. Next, with a hacksaw, cut the aluminum track 2 inches shorter than the track assembly. This allows you to insert the trolley later. Install the header assembly end bracket on the end you just cut. I use a screw in the slotted hole so I can adjust the header to fit the space. So the next step, I'm going to take the height of our door plus 1/8 inch, make a mark on the jack. That'll allow us a line to place the pocket door header. Account for the floor thickness on the pocket side. Use a clamp at the mark to help support the header assembly while working, and drive in a nail or screw through the slot on the bracket. Drive in a nail or screw through the slot on the door opening side too. Starting with the slot allows you to make adjustments to the header assembly. Make sure the track is level, then drill pilot holes through the screw holes and secure the bracket with the included screws. Next, we're going to lay out and install our split framing jambs. Measure the height from the subfloor to the top of the header assembly. If needed, cut them to size. A set of split jambs will be placed near the door opening against the track header, and the other set will be centered between the opening and wall stud. Slide the floor bracket onto one split jamb with the steel wrap side of the jamb facing the inside. Lean the split jamb up against the header assembly. Drill pilot holes and attach to the nailing strip of the header assembly using the included 2-inch nails, and use a nail set to sink the nail heads if needed. Check it for plumb, then secure the bracket to the floor. Slide the other split jamb on the bracket, drill pilot holes, and secure it with nails. For the middle split jambs, measure and mark the location on the exposed side of the wall. I like to set the jamb in place and secure the floor bracket. Then I transfer the location to the other side on the drywall and secure the split jamb with nails. Install the jamb on the exposed side too, and secure the drywall with screws. Before hanging the door, if you're installing a new slab, now would be a good time to cut the bore for the polar latch. Then you can paint the door on all 6 sides. It's a good time to paint the trim too. So next I'm going to install my hanger plates. I'm going to set them back 7/8 of an inch from both ends and then mark a center line. Then I'll align the plate with the center line, drill pilot holes, and secure with screws. The hanger plates have a locking mechanism to hold the trolley bolt. Just squeeze to release the trolley. Slide the trolleys into the track. Align the door with the trolleys and click into the hanger plates. Then close the lock tabs on the door plates. This kit includes a wrench to adjust the hangers to make sure the door is level. And there's enough clearance between it and the floor. Pocket doors typically include guides that help keep the door aligned and keep it from swaying. These ones will be installed about 4 inches off the floor into the slotted holes provided. So next we're going to install this bumper on the back side of the door. This will stop the door from making any heavy impact against the wood framing. We're going to install it 40 inches off the finished floor, and to be able to come up with the correct depth behind the door, we're first going to start with this split jamb and sizing up the spacing of the door. We'll take our split jamb, flush up the door, and then take the measurement at the back from the framing. We've got just under 1 inch, and the bumper itself is measuring at about 5/16 of an inch. So we're going to take a wood shim behind it to make sure that the door doesn't slide too far into the pocket. Test the door. If you need to adjust anything, now is the time to do it. Check that the door is centered in the frame. After the door is working properly and the framing is secured, replace the drywall. Be sure the drywall screw length won't interfere with the door closing. For complete steps on installing drywall, check out our video, How to Install Drywall. After the drywall is finished, paint the walls. After the wall paint is dried, install the finished jambs around the opening. The door will have finished split jambs on the pocket side and a wider full jamb on the strike or closed side. At the top, shorter jambs on both sides will hide the track. I'm using 3/4 stock that can be found in the lumber section at your local Lowe's. I've already cut it to length and width. Before attaching the jambs on the split side, transfer the location of the nail holes in the framing jambs onto the drywall so you'll know where to nail with the jamb in place. On the split side, I'm using 2 pieces of jamb material that will sit on each side of the door. I've notched out with a chisel where the finished jamb will sit against the door guides. This will allow it to sit flush against the framing, and I simply secure it with brad nails. On the strike side, I'll hold the jamb in place and use shims to make it plumb so it's even with the door. Then I can secure the jamb with brad nails. On the split jambs at the top of the doorway, I only use a couple of nails so the trim can be removed easily if the door ever needs to be adjusted or removed. Then cut the excess shims. As an option, you can always add an additional jamb stop for a little more privacy. Next, I'm going to install the pole. I'll insert the latch bolt into the hole and secure the faceplate with screws. Then I'll secure the pole plates. Next, on the strike side, add a piece of tape to mark the strike plate location. Close the door and mark where the bolt meets the jamb. Hold the strike plate in place and trace around the edge. Same with the strike box. I like to mark the depth on a spade bit with a piece of painter's tape. Then I drill the mortise depth through the jamb. Follow up with a chisel on the corners and to make the strike plate sit flush with the jamb. Secure the strike plate with screws. For this pull, when the door is in the pocket, you simply push on the bolt end and a pull pops out so you can close the door. For a little bit easier of an installation, I like to pre-build my casings. Secure it with finish nails. Attach the baseboards too. Then touch up everything with filler and paint. To finish, you may need to cut down the threshold to fit the new doorway. And that's it! The convenience and streamlined design of a pocket door can add style and functionality to any space. And with the convenient installation kit from Lowe's, it's a project you can tackle at home. Thanks for watching. Remember to like the video, click the subscribe button, and let us know in the comments what other types of how-to projects you'd like to see from Lowe's.